Welcome to Season 4, Episode 3 of FountainCast. I am Betsy Lavoie, and today we have with us
Kristin Milishowski
and our guest, Josh Gridley. We're so excited to have a guest, our first ever, here at the new Pratt Studios that we are at. So we're excited to have you, Josh.
Welcome.
Today we are talking about the Fountain Festival of Fine Arts and Crafts. This festival has been going on for 51 years, which is so exciting. And we are excited to have Josh for so many different reasons. But I'm just going to start out, Josh, if you wouldn't mind sharing with everyone what type of art you do and what is your art name. I know it's on your shirt. Hopefully our audience can see that, but share a little bit more about yourself.
Yeah, so my art is Joshatorium, and my art is a take on the desert landscape. I take basically what's known and have you look at it through a different lens. And my whole goal with my art was to bring love and light and creativity to people's homes. And so I wanted to use something that's very vibrant, very bright, colorful, fun, and to radiate that energy into people's houses through the artwork.
Well, it's awesome. I think you've absolutely done that. You've been a hit already as a brand new emerging artist to our show, which is awesome. You're not a new emerging artist, though, to our town. And so we'll talk about that in just a moment. But it's hard to believe that we've been bringing art and life to our downtown, little old Fountain Hills, for 5 decades, isn't it?
It's incredible.
Yes. It
So
really is.
amazing. Yeah. And what a great spot for it, too. It's such a beautiful location.
Yes, it absolutely is. And so, Kristin, I know I always love to say, she's not a newbie anymore. She's been in Fountain Hills for 5 years, but she's newer than we are. And so I love to hear from Kristin's side of things. How is our festival different? Or what do you think from someone who's new to Fountain Hills or outside of Fountain Hills makes it charming?
Yes, I call myself a self-proclaimed festival junkie. I love going to antique markets and the different art shows and things. I did a lot of that with my family and friends in the Midwest. And when I came out to Fountain Hills and saw this Festival of Fine Arts and Crafts, I was so excited and blown away. It was so unique and different from any other festival I've been to. The array of artists that is available to anyone that comes to this, that people, of course, travel from all over the country to come and see what is on display. It's very impressive. And the fact that it is a juried art show bumps that level up to, it's on such a much higher level than anything I've experienced in the United States.
Yes, because it's pretty easy to put together a craft show.
It is.
I think it's harder to put together a fine arts and craft show. And so that's what we aim to do twice a year, every year. So
Yes.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
and there
for sharing
truly
that.
is something for everyone, for every budget. If it's woodworking, I'm thinking of the artist that makes he has like beautiful olive wood spatulas, and there's items for your kitchen that are artwork, and there's your artwork, and then there's the clay and the pottery, and it's just so many different things. So
Yes.
it's, yeah.
And for
truly
the
outstanding.
foodies out there, we have a
Yes.
whole new food court this year. But I shouldn't give that away. So I would love to go back to, so Josh and I grew up in Fountain Hills. We didn't know each other because he's quite a bit younger than I am. But Josh and I grew up in Fountain Hills, but I knew your family very well. So your family, the Gridley family, I went to, it was our Target before we had Target and so much more. So I went to Gridley's often with my mom. We did, I actually did art classes at Gridley's. I did so many different crafting classes at Gridley's. Just such fond memories. And to have you now in this next generation, literally right in front of the old Gridley's on the Avenue of the Fountains as an artist, what does that mean to you?
It's pretty surreal because when I applied the first time, and then I didn't care where I got a booth. They have you put in, like, if you have a preference, and I just want to be in the show. It was my first time doing a show. And then to be put in front of Gridley's, I was like, oh, this is like perfect, because obviously my grandparents had the store forever and it's not there anymore. And so it was very special, like being there and then being part of the community and getting to meet people, because I'd been gone from I was in Los Angeles for like 16, 17 years.
Oh, wow.
And so when I came back to Fountain Hills, it was like a whole kind of rebirth and trying to connect with the community and meeting new people, and a lot of stuff had changed. And so it was really beautiful being back, and then being in that spot was ultra special.
Right, absolutely. It's like kismet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
And so what brought you to Los Angeles and what brought you back to Fountain Hills?
So I was working in film and video games. So I was an animator and a pre-visualization artist working on mainly like Marvel films, big budget action films, and doing pre-visualization, post-visualization, and then also animation. And then for video games, I was working on like the Spider-Man series and whatnot.
Wow.
And my dad had cancer, and so everything went work from home during the pandemic. And so I wanted to be with him before he passed. And so I never thought I'd end up back in Fountain Hills. And I came back, and it brought me to tears how beautiful the place is. And being back has just been so special, especially from going from Los Angeles, where it's just hustle and bustle everywhere, to Fountain Hills, where it's calm. There's beautiful panorama of mountains all around. I mean, it's a gorgeous place to be. And so I feel very grateful to be back in Fountain Hills.
That's wonderful. I'm sorry to hear about the passing of your father.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, the silver lining was he got me back out here. So,
Right.
Yeah.
And when you were in LA, were you creative on the side doing your art, or did you just always take the more tech side of creativity?
No, I mean, being an animator, you're always creative in your own. But when I worked at Disney, I stopped creating art kind of altogether. And because it was just kind of just the grind of being on production, and you're working very long hours and for long periods. And I stopped, and like the whole process, it came to me, God spoke to me one night and asked me why I wasn't creating art. And I thought about it for quite a while.
Yeah.
It was like I woke up, and I kept thinking about it, and I was like, well, I'm not creating art because I was comparing myself to all these artists that I was working with in the studio that were paid to paint and draw and concept movies and games for a living, but I was just working as an animator. And so I didn't consider myself an artist. I thought it was very egotistical to consider myself an artist. So I had a hard time like coping with that, and I had this kind of weird inferiority complex going on. And God challenged me to create left-handed, and I'm a right-handed artist. So the next day I bought like a little tiny sketchbook, and I would sit and I would watch the setting sun, and I painted left-handed, stream of conscious, and I spent a year just painting left-handed. I would write, I would do everything left-handed, and the process, it like reawoke me to the creation process in general. And then when I moved back out to Arizona, like literally as I was crossing the border, it was like I saw the desert in this completely different manner. Like as a kid growing up in Arizona, I saw everything as like red and brown and hot and just the kind of like surface level things. But when I crossed the border, it brought me to tears how beautiful it was, and the simplicity and the minimalism and just the colors. Like the colors were just like so vibrant and shocking. And so I spent the next like handful of months just sitting out in the desert, drawing and figuring out my style, and kind of led me back to creating art. And then eventually I quit my job and decided to just pursue being an artist full time, and this is what I'm doing now.
Oh, wow. That's so impressive. And you touch on that a little bit, I think, on the very homepage of your website.
Yeah.
How your art, it's coming through the soul and the conscious and your spirit. And it really does. It's simpler, but yet it's so in depth. It really accomplishes that.
Yeah, it's been a fun process to kind of find that and strip things down into a very simple method. And almost like cartoons as a kid, you see these things that are very graphic, but you get such an emotional response from the vibrant colors. And it's really fun to see what it does to people and how they respond to those colors and how it kind of can change your mood.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone paints the desert. I think a lot of times we see it in a similar way, across artists, and you have taken it to a very different level.
Well,
and
thank you.
truly love your work.
Thank you
And
very
it's
much.
so recognizable.
Yeah.
I saw at P39, I'm like, there's Josh H.E.A.R.T.
Yes.
And I saw it at Chill Boutique, there's Josh H.E.A.R.T. I love it. It's
Thank
so
you.
recognizable. And of course we have some things in our gift shop too, because
Awesome.
we're like proud mamas.
Yes.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
So you mentioned that you are new into the art as a business,
Yes.
right? So you are a H.E.A.R.T. grant winner. H.E.A.R.T. grant stands for Helping Emerging Artists and Rising Talent. And so the reason that came about was actually elected official Hannah Toth. She worked for our Chamber of Commerce for a short period of time, and she had the idea that we should extend an offering for new emerging artists because a lot of our artists were aging out. As you've seen with our art festival, we've had artists who've been with us 40, 50 years, and they even one today was 82 years old setting
That's
up.
incredible.
And it is incredible, but we also have to think about the sustainability of the show. And being the largest show in the Southwest United States, which it is the largest show, we need to make sure we have new talent that is coming in to replace our retiring talent. And so it was her idea to have this H.E.A.R.T grant, and she ended up only working with us for a short period of time, but we took that idea and ran with it. And we just started 3 seasons ago for the H.E.A.R.T grant. So talk to us a little bit about receiving, being one of the few recipients. We only have 10 winners per show, which is quite the accomplishment. So you did a really good job. And so tell us a little bit more about receiving that grant so that it could launch you.
Well, first of all, thanks, Hannah, for starting. No, it's amazing because it's very hard to start an art business. I mean, it's hard to start any business, but an art business is like especially hard. You have so much cost and materials and getting things going. And then applying to the shows, like there's fees. And then obviously when you get a show, you have a fee for the booth. And so there's all sorts of additional costs to things. And so it just makes it possible to actually like apply for a show. Okay, like this covers my whole show this year. And then for the next show, which is amazing. And then it's like at that point you can try to start making some money and paying for some of your materials and my ridiculous what would be addiction to art supplies.
I have a similar addiction, but it's for office supplies, so
yeah.
I do get it.
Awesome. That's why you loved Gridley so much?
That's why I loved Gridley so much. Yes, fond memory. Maybe that's why
Yeah.
I have the addiction. Maybe it's
so.
your family's fault from
You're
from such a
welcome.
lovely store. Yes.
Very young age, right?
Right. Yes. Well, that's great. So we love that you were one of our very first H.E.A.R.T grant winners. And now we've given over $33,000 in H.E.A.R.T grants for emerging artists in just our first 3 seasons. So we just encourage any new artist who might be thinking like Josh that maybe they're not good enough, or should I launch into entrepreneurship with their art career? It's an opportunity for anyone to try to do that. So
Absolutely. And it's like, it's so rewarding, even though it may be difficult and you may not see profits for a while. Like just the process in general is so great. And then seeing people respond, it's even better.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to someone who is launching into their first festival or show for the first time? Is there anything that you wished you would have known or someone would have told you?
One thing that another artist told me that I thought was really awesome advice, and it may sound stupid, but not counting how much money you've made until like the very end. Like don't keep track of like what you're making, because it's easy to get discouraged. And then especially if it's like slow lull periods and you're like, oh, I'm not making anything right now. And it kind of just takes you out of that mindset of engaging with others and being there because like this is your passion and you love doing it. And then it puts you in that kind of that business needing to make money aspect versus like the real passion and the love and why you're there in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so I would definitely like focus on that. And then, yeah, I mean, one thing that was helpful for me is my first couple shows, I was painting live because a lot of people think that my art is digital artwork, and it's not. And so I wanted to show people like, this is my process. I actually paint everything. I don't use digital at all. And it was great for me because I could just sit there and focus on the painting, but then I don't talk to people. Right. I just like sit in my corner and just paint the whole time. So I'd recommend not doing that and just like maybe paint for a little while, but it's nice to engage with people and meet people and get to know like who likes your work and why they like it, and just enjoying the overall like festival process. And art can be like a very lonely business because you're just in your studio all the time and you post stuff on Instagram or whatever, and maybe you'll get a few hearts or maybe somebody will comment. But other than that, you don't really get any like critique. And so it's nice to have people in person so you can actually see them physically responding to something and then talk to them about it. And so I would just recommend just enjoying the process, not focus on the money aspect, just focus on why you're there and and the passion of it, and engaging with people, and in just like the overall process of doing a festival in general.
That's awesome.
Great.
That's great advice. Yeah. Jinx.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds lonely. When you said it's lonely at times, that sounds lovely. Kristen and my role is so people focused, and we are with people literally all day, all the time. To actually have some calm, peaceful time, and to actually be lonely sounds just delightful.
We might just sneak off to your booth and start
Yes.
painting while you're chatting. We'll just have a
have a-
collaborative artwork, right?
I have a couple easels. You're more than welcome. Yeah.
You'll turn into the art therapy
Yeah.
tent.
Yeah, it totally is a great therapy.
So, Kristen, can we talk a little bit more about the economic impact
Yes.
that the fair has on our town?
Yeah, it's a huge impact that it has. I believe it is about $2 million. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
That brings in per festival. And you had kind of touched earlier about having that mindset shift of not, counting your money because it can put you in a negative spot. And I think it's such a big impact. It brings so many people into town. And then our residents, they live here, and all of a sudden their pathway is closed to the car
Ruh-roh.
wash or to the grocery store. And so that can, be a little, what do I want to say, uncomfortable for them for the weekend when people are in town and they can't get to where they want to go.
Yes.
So I think sometimes that can make people angry, right?
Right.
About the art festival in general. And that's not what we're trying to do, is disrupt people's lives. But it's such an awesome event, and to have Fountain Hills as the destination for that, where people come in from all over the country and from around the valley to visit the festival, is incredible. And that impact that it makes economically to our community. Can you imagine if we didn't have that?
I know.
What, think for a minute what that might look like for our town and
Right.
for the people that live there.
Yes, for our restaurants and our gas stations and our grocery stores and literally all of our hotels, all the heads and beds, they're
Yes.
all full for the weekend. And even the RV park that's over on in the
Yes.
Yavapai Nation, the surrounding trickle effect that it has is huge. And so it is a little surprising when sometimes we hear businesses and residents who are disgruntled that they have more traffic in their town. So what do you think about that, Josh? What do you want to share about if a resident or a business is not necessarily excited about the influx of people?
Come to my booth, check out my art. It'll give you a great energy boost, and it'll change your mood. And no, it's an awesome event, and it's so cool, and it's just a weekend, and then obviously you have the other one, but it's not that big of a, like, it happens on the weekend, so yeah, maybe it disturbs a few days of stuff, but just come to the event and enjoy it. Like, there's great food, there's music, there's tons of people having a great time, and the weather is usually incredible. So they used to do the hot air balloons, which I love. That they did it the one year. Which
Yes, we did it for the 50th anniversary. We brought it back.
Yeah,
Yes.
that was so cool to see. And it looks so magical where you have the fountain and then you have the hot air balloons going up and then the mountains in the background. So, yeah, I can understand. I'm sorry if it disrupts your routine, but it's a good change for your routine. Everything needs to have a monkey wrench every once in a while.
right. It keeps things fresh.
Yeah.
And you got to turn those lemons into lemonade. And
Exactly.
it's a change. It's short term for a weekend, and simply embrace it. Right?
Yeah, it gives you a creative outlet instead of like going down Saguaro or Fountain Hills Boulevard. Maybe you got to take a new route and you get to see something new.
That's good for your
That's
brain.
right.
It is
Yeah.
good for our brains and
Yeah,
bodies
totally.
to break up our routines every now and then.
Absolutely. And we were just talking, Kristen and I were just talking about how the show has really been an iconic part of our town since inception. So the show started in 1974. As you know, the town started, well, not even the town, the fountain started in 1970. The town is only 30 years old. So it has predated the town's incorporation. And so it's literally been a part of our creation of our community from the beginning. And so for those who might not be so excited, I encourage everyone to just embrace the fact that this was a part of the vision of our town from the beginning. And we welcome you as perhaps new residents, and we encourage you to embrace the tradition of what this show is, which is a part of our history and our nostalgia. Yes.
That's awesome. I didn't know it was predated the town.
Yes.
That's incredible.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, we're pretty impressed by that. And so with that, we encourage you to come out and see the Fountain Festival of Fine Arts and Crafts. We are the second full weekend of November each year and the last full weekend of February each year. You could check us out at fhartfairs.com. And Josh, where can everyone check out your art?
Joshatorium.com, or my Instagram is Joshatorium, and then I'm on Facebook as well.
That's
I have a
awesome.
TikTok too, but I just kind of post random painting videos of me. So
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I bet that's going to be very popular very soon.
I hope so.
You can also find them on the Visit Fountain Hills app. So if you have the Visit Fountain Hills app, download it, just search Joshatorium, and you can find them there too. Thanks so much for watching.